welcoming you in a very, very sad and tragic week, particularly for our American friends and colleagues following the attacks in Benghazi, during which, of course, the US Ambassador Stevens, and 3 of his colleagues were so cruelly, tragically, brutally and senselessly killed. This struggle for democracy and transition is clearly really not easy, and some of our US colleagues have this week paid their lives for it in Libya. But it's not a struggle that we are giving up. And one of the really wonderful things about today and about the visit of these fantastic Afghani women to Poland is that it shows where the transition to democracy and the peaceful transition can get you if you keep working at it. That's not to say that there aren't challenges ahead, of course. But I didn't want to start this morning without remembering our friends and colleagues in Benghazi this week. Okay, thank you. With that, I'd like to welcome in particular the US Ambassador, Lee Feinstein. I'd like to welcome the Ambassador from Afghanistan to Poland this morning. I'd particularly like to welcome, of course, our special guests, ladies from Afghanistan who have come all the way over to Poland for a few days in the context of a wider visit that I'll tell you a bit more about. But we're absolutely delighted to have you here this morning. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank the guests from Afghanistan for making the long journey, which has been unfortunately a bit complicated for some of them. I'd like to thank the Polish Institute for International Affairs for helping make this happen. I'd like to thank our moderator this morning, Wojciech Siedlski from the Polish radio. And I would like to thank the US Embassy in general and the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs in general for the fantastic cooperation that we have enjoyed in preparing this project. This project isn't only about today, it's about an extended visit for these ladies to Poland to be able to talk firsthand about their experience at the time of the International Women's Congress, which is taking place tomorrow and on Saturday. During that congress, some of the ladies will be speaking on panels and sharing firsthand their experiences of the transition in Afghanistan and what it has meant for them and their colleagues and peers, in particular women, around them. So I'm particularly delighted that this seminar is taking place in the context of that wider visit. And this morning, we have an opportunity through our panellists who will be up, and you'll see who they are in a minute, but we're delighted to have the MFA represented here, as well as the Afghan ladies to talk about their experiences. We're going to talk about the advances in Afghanistan over the last decade as a result of the engagement of the UK, US and Poland, amongst others. We're also going to talk about what that has meant for these particular women and what they see in society, changing in society around them. We're going to talk about why it is that American, British and Polish soldiers are in Afghanistan and dying there. We're going to talk about the positive side of that, what it's bringing, what it's changing. But we're also going to be honest, and we're going to talk about the challenges that yet remain in Afghanistan, which are significant, and talk about how we think we should best overcome those challenges. This initiative is a US-UK initiative with the support of the Polish MFA, and I think it's a wonderful example of the kind of cooperation that our 3 countries can bring about. With that, it gives me enormous pleasure to invite Ambassador Feinstein to the podium to give us his opening remarks. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you for your personal condolences that I received from you on behalf of the British people yesterday. And thanks to President Komorowski, other Polish government leaders, and the people of Poland for the outpouring of support that I've received, that all Americans have received over the course of the last couple of days about the brutal killings of 4 of my embassy colleagues in Benghazi, Libya. We have no better friends in the polls, and especially at times like this. And as Jessica said, we condemn these killings, which are senseless and can't be justified. on any grounds. But at the same time, they're committed to our values and to our principles, and we will continue to do our work in Benghazi, with our friends and partners in Afghanistan, and around the world. And it's essential that we must do that. And so it's appropriate that we're here today, Afghans, Poles, Brits, and Americans, to talk about what we have been able to accomplish and what is yet to be done in Afghanistan. And I'm particularly pleased that my good friend, the ambassador of Afghanistan, is here today. And sir, if you'd be kind of just to stand up so we can all acknowledge him. Thank you so much for your presence. When I was in Afghanistan now a year and a half ago, I traveled with a couple of American ambassadors and a couple of senior NATO leaders with the Supreme Allied Commander of Europe, Admiral Stavridis. We went to Helmand province, and we went as well outside of Kabul to one of the major training centers for ISAF troops. And it just so happened that while we were there, we were able to witness the first graduating class of women into the Afghan National Security Forces, into the Afghan Army. And it was an amazing moment and something none of us will ever forget. And as the Afghan commanders told us, the Afghan women, who are still a small minority of those participating in the Afghan army, were almost to a person better educated and of a very, very high caliber. And it was the first time that Afghan women had been graduates of this program and admitted into the army, and an important milestone. For over a decade, British, Polish, American troops, and at least as important, civilians from our Department of State, from our Ministries of Foreign Affairs, from our development agencies, and from NGOs around the world, have been working side by side with brave, talented people such as the leaders who are here today traveling to Warsaw for this week. We're here and we work together not only to defeat extremists and terrorists, but also, and at least as important, to assist the people of Afghanistan to restore fundamental rights that have been stripped away from them by the Taliban regime. We have made some progress, and as Jessica said, there's still a lot to do. But one of the areas that is of greatest importance, an area that I'm very proud to say Secretary Clinton has emphasized, is making sure that all the people of Afghanistan can participate in Afghanistan's future. And the future of any country cannot succeed if half of the population is excluded. So let me give you a few statistics to point to some of the progress we've been able to make in this long road to transition. In 2001, life expectancy for women in Afghanistan was 44 years. Now it is 62. In 2001, few girls went to school. Today, 3 million do. Girls today constitute nearly 40% of all primary school enrollments. Some 120,000 have graduated from high school, 15,000 are enrolled in university, nearly 500 women are on university faculties. Maternal mortality, infant mortality, under 5 mortality rates have all declined significantly. These are positive statistics. There's obviously still a long way to go. But it's important that as we think about the sacrifices all of our governments and others are making together to remember that we are making some progress and having an impact on the daily lives of the people of Afghanistan. And after all, that's what we're here to do. I'm very, very much looking forward to listening to our panelists today. The leaders who have traveled from Afghanistan to Warsaw are impressive, and they would be impressive for any government. And I was just saying to the ambassador, I'm sure he's very, very proud to have them here as guests, as we are. If you have not had a chance to read their biographies, I encourage you all to do, because they are making progress on the cutting edge of transitional democracy, whether it's in helping Afghans circumvent corruption by transferring funds through cell phones, or whether it's promoting opportunities for women to study and learn in Afghanistan. These people are on the forefront. So I look forward to hearing from several of you on the panel today. I look forward to hosting all of you tonight at my residence. And I know that all of Warsaw is extremely pleased that you'll be taking part in the annual Women's Congress, which will take place over the weekend. So thank you for your service. Thank you to my colleagues from Afghanistan and from the British Embassy and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Poland for this event, which is an important and tangible example of how our countries together can cooperate to continue to make progress in Afghanistan. Dziękuję. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. With that, I'd like to invite Ambassador Jerzy Więcław, head of the South Asia unit in the Foreign Affairs Ministry, to say a few words. Thank you.
Mr. Glover, Your Excellency, Ambassador Feinstein, Ambassador of Afghanistan, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On the outset, I would like to join Mrs. Glover's words and expressions of deep sympathy and condolences to Ambassador Feinstein and his colleagues on the tragic loss of his colleague, his compatriot. This loss is, as Ambassador said, deeply shared within our nation, Poles, and in particular in the Foreign Ministry among our servicemen. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me an enormous pleasure to address the beginning of the important seminar on the future and prospects of Afghan women, to say how glad we are to cooperate, first of all, with the two embassies, US and UK, based here, and as well with the